Good morning, students. We continue with our discussion on democracy. Today, we are supporting the democracy because we still emphasize and discuss. You may think Sir is coming every day with the democracy. But that's our topic. And that has got deep-rooted effect in our day-to-day life. That is why we study about it in detail. Okay, supported is accountable. The support democracy is accountable. What do you mean by accountable? You think that your father has given you some 100 rupees and told you to go to a shop and purchase some materials and come. When you reach back to home, what will you do? You will say, Sir, Papa, for rice this much price, wheat this much price, this is for sweet, this is for mustard, and all the things. Then you will give, so Papa, this much is balance. Why do you tell him? Because you are accountable to him, answerable to him. You have to give the details of the account because the money that is given to you is by him. And you are bound to inform him how did you spend the money. That's accountable. You know, in any institutions or anywhere there are accountants are there. People who keep the accountings. Why do you keep the account? To check whether it is correctly spent. Any mistakes are there. To check, counter check. So accountability is there. Anybody can know it. So in a democratic system, the people can ask the things to the government. When people can ask the government, and government is bound to answer to the people, that's known as accountable. They cannot. When, as I told you, if you are not telling to Papa, no, I will not tell, I will do whatever I like. That is not possible for you. Because your father has given you the money and you are bound to answer him the questions. So that is accountable. If anybody, I gave you the money also, you are bound to answer my questions. To spend something, do something, then you are bound to answer it. So it is like that. So that is accountability. Answerable. And people have got the right to ask questions to you. That is what is happening in the parliament. The MPs ask the questions to the ministers. The ministers are bound to answer the questions. There is no excuse in that. That's democracy. Even if they don't ask at that, at least after 5 years, they come to us for order. Then we can ask the question. Thank you very much. You have not done what I expected you to do. You have done wrong way. Out. So that is democracy. That's a specialty. You know, here we are giving some example of China. China, we know, it is not a democratic country. Single party rule. And the rulers, they continue, or the party rules. No other opposition, nobody can question. Some years ago, a person was awarded Nobel Prize. He was not permitted to go out of China and get Nobel Prize because he criticized the government. Criticism in China is not accepted. Whatever is done by the government should be accepted. Nobody can question any actions of the government. In a democracy, it should be free. Citizens should have the right to question the government. So you are telling the government you are doing wrong. When we tell the government that you are doing wrong, and government takes care of that mistake, corrects that mistake, that is democracy. Here that is happening. China and India faced a famine in 1960s. It was more in China. In India also there was some financial, it was just we got independence, last time there was famine. But we see the effect was very less, felt very less in India. Because government took the proactive step, provided the facilities to the people. took care of the people. Now when an earthquake is taking place or flood is taking place, and the government takes the proactive step so that the people don't have much problems of it. So why? Otherwise, the opposition party will criticize the government, and the newspapers or the magazines or television channels or radio channels which are free, they will criticize the government, and the government will have to face the problem during the election time. And everywhere writing against the government, and government has not done anything, government is doing wrong. When that kind of report comes, then it is not good for the government. So government has to listen. So death rate in China was heavy, in India it was less, because it was a democratic government. It is the responsibility of the democratic government, and it's answerable why the people died. Question should be answered by the government. So government took care, because it is their government. Democratic government is of the people. That's a specialty. So in independent democracy, the government has to respond to the demands of the people. So give money, take the loan, take your facilities, provide facilities, road will be made. Everything, whatever is done, can be done by the government. People demand. That's the responsibility of the government. The free press and opposition party want to make the government respond. It is the duty of the opposition parties to criticize the government, tell the mistakes of the government. That is the duty. If the opposition party is not telling the government the mistakes of it, then they may not come to know. Sometimes your enemy may point out, hey, you are doing that. You will be alert. Your friend may not mind some mistakes you are doing. So the mistakes when somebody points out, if you are correcting that mistake, you will become more sharp and more powerful and more aggressive. So that is possible in a democracy. Non-democratic government's response depends on the wishes of the ruler. The ruler will say, no, nothing, what? I am not doing mine. Let the people die. Nothing can be done. If anybody tells that you are selling wrong, this response from you is wrong, you are either will be arrested, killed, or you will be shot dead. You know what is happening in North Korea, even in China. So nobody can speak against the government. Open your mouth against the government, you are out. So that situation, it is not a democratic situation. That is a non-democratic government. They may do it. We cannot say they may not. Some of the government kings or rulers may do it, but mostly it is not done. Quality decision making. You know, when we take a decision, it can go wrong sometimes. Even border issues with a foreign country relationship or our internal matter, anything that can have a decision, this can go wrong. So to not to go wrong that decision, what you should consult who knows about it. So different groups of people should be consulted, discussed, debated, arguments should take place. Then changes can be brought inside. That is possible in a democracy. Consultation and discussions are normal in democracy. No decision is taken by the Prime Minister alone. No decision is taken by the President alone. There are persons who support, with whom he is bound to discuss. The decisions for anything, emergency even decision, should be taken by the cabinet. Ministers have to discuss. And in ministers, there are members who can give expert advice. If any war has to take place with any countries, war should be fought, how it should be fought. There are experts who will guide the Prime Minister and the Defense Minister, and with the core discussions only the decision is taken. In other normal situations, in the parliament there will be discussion. Ruling party and opposition party members will discuss and debate in the parliament and say this is wrong, this is wrong. So there is open consultations. Changes are possible. So that is possible only in a democracy. In dictatorship, ultimately one word is there, he is told finished. In democracy, it is not like that. The Prime Minister wants a decision, he has to ask to be approved by the President. President has to sign. Okay, President has only power to sign. President cannot change any decision. But there is a second chance of reading and finding out if this may have a problem. That power is under the President. And even after that also, if another normal law, rules and regulations are made, it can go to the President. Sorry, Supreme Court. 1986, when Rajiv Gandhi was a Prime Minister, there was a postal bill passed by the Parliament. Majority members were in the Parliament. The bill was passed by the Parliament because the government wanted to open the letters of every citizen. It was a widespread protest, public everywhere. But the government wanted that bill to be passed. Government wanted the bill to be passed, and government passed the bill. Lok Sabha, Rajya Sabha, first the cabinet approved, Lok Sabha approved, Rajya Sabha approved, and bill went to the President's signature. By that time, the government came to know that opposition is very strong. That bill cannot be passed because the bill permits government to open any letter of any citizen. If I send a letter to my father or mother, anything, normal letter, any letter, government officials can open that letter. That was the rule. So naturally people told it that cannot be permitted. That cannot be accepted. Government should not see my personal letters. The government argument was that at that time there was a Khalistan movement. They wanted Punjab to be independent. So mostly the communication by these organizations were through the letters. At that time there was no much TV and no much mobiles and all those things, internet, all those things were not there. So communication was through letters. So government thinking was correct to open the letters and find out what they are writing. But that would affect the ordinary citizen because the government official can do whatever he likes. So there was opposition. The President got the bill, he has to sign, but he did not sign. And there is a constitutional provision that the second name if the bill is passed by the Rajya Sabha and Lok Sabha and reaches to him, President has no option. The government did not make the bill, second time pass it. See the situation. If this process was not there, if the consultation process was not there, if the bill would become law without the signature of the President, it would have become a law. So, we have got that steps. In a democratic system it is there. In every country it is there. In a democratic country. Different steps are there. So, if it is found wrong by one person, there he can stop it. Because when many heads are put together, we are able to change it. That's what happens. Many heads are put together, mistakes may be less, it may bring down the mistakes. The pros and cons will be discussed. It may not be the viewpoint of one person, may not be the viewpoint of another person. So that is possible in a democratic system. That's what I said. Rash and irresponsible decisions would not take place in a democratic country because of different groups of people who involved in decision making. In any kind of thing, any decision. Sometimes the party decides, from the party it comes to the government, and government discusses, cabinet discusses, then the discussion is reaching to the parliament. Parliament also, two houses are there, and sometimes the matter is put to the public for discussions. People discuss, newspapers, magazines, TV channels, they discuss. All those discussions, then ultimately the government makes the rules and regulations or whatever it is. And after the rules are passed, then also there will be discussion going on among the public whether that is needed or not. So this is possible in a democratic system. Conflicts and differences are dealt better in a democratic. As conflict can take place. If there are no conflicts, no growth. That becomes a slavery. If I tell you something, you just believe it and accept it, then it's not correct. You must rethink. Yes, sir, it is wrong. It can be like this also. So, so there. Among your friends, sometimes conflict occurs. Simple reasons. So that conflicts and all those things occur. And it can be discussed and solved. That is possible in a democratic society system. Difference of opinion is normal in democracy. It is a normal thing. It is not abnormal. India has huge diversity. You see, we have, as in the beginning, I told the language problem. Language problem is a problem of India. North India we have Hindi. When it comes to South India, we have other languages. So many languages we have. So national one language is very difficult for this. So there is a friction. So among that, when the Andhra, the people demanded that country should be divided on the basis of the language, there was a fear in the mind of the government, central government. It may create other division. But division of the country based on the language has helped the people to develop their language, their home mother tongue, give importance to it, teach their children. So there was a conflict of language in the beginning, but that conflict, they sat together, the leaders sat together of different ideas, then they came out with the solutions. The beginning central government was not ready for a division of India. You see, it took years to divide the country based on the language. So that is the idea. We speak different language, we follow different religion. That is why in the constitution it is written that the right to freedom of religion, anybody can follow any religion he wants. It's written in the constitution, it's a fundamental right, because we have variety languages, variety religions. So today morning I am a Hindu, afternoon I can be a Muslim, evening I can be a Christian. Changing your religion is left to each individual. Nobody can force others to believe in any religion. That's a fundamental right of the citizens. So that is it. Problems can be temporarily solved by brutal force. We can solve the problem. You don't obey, you will be shot dead. They'll obey. But after some time when he goes, again the problem will start. So problems can happen, that can be solved by mutual discussions, consultations. That is possible in a democratic system. Permanent solution to the problem. You know, Hitler thought the problem with England and France could be solved by attacking England and France. But what happened? Hitler got defeated. Then those victorious countries did not take revenge on the countries which are lost in the war, helped them, supported them. So there was no much problems after that. So listening to others, accepting others, that is what is democracy. Problems can be temporarily solved. No permanent winner or loser in democracy. Nobody is permanent winner, nobody is permanent loser. The winning team today, next time they will be a losing team. The elections are after 5 years, the people decide who should continue. People are unhappy with this existing government. People will say, thank you very much. That's a democracy. It is possible in democracy. In dictatorship, it is not possible because they don't come to us for elections. Enhance the dignity of the individual. Political equality. One person, one vote. So what happened? Poorest and least educated have same value in the voting percentage. Social setup may not get, but at least what is one? So the person who wants to get vote, he has to ask the vote of every citizen, because every citizen's vote value is same. So that is important. People are the rulers, democracy. Government of the people, by the people. People are responsible for the problems. So we are really, if any problem is taking place in the country, it is our own problem. It is not a problem of anybody else. Because we are the people who form the government. We are the people who get affected because of the actions of the government. So it is we who give the situation in the country. We are responsible for it. We cannot say everything is on the government. It's we are persons who are accepting the wrong activities if it is there from the part of the government. Allow us to correct on mistakes. Mistakes can happen and we can correct it. Mistake is a natural phenomenon. Anywhere, anytime, any government, anything, it can happen. But it is possible because there is no ego to be taken care by the ruling persons. If they are having an ego, what happens? I will tell you, mistakes can happen in any democracy. Public discussions is possible in democracy. I have already discussed. The other forms of the rulers not ready to change, nothing can be done. If mistake is done, everybody knows the government has done mistake. Asking government to change the mistake, they are not ready to change. Then what to do? Nothing can be done. But when it comes to democracy, what will happen? If the government has done a mistake, if it is not ready to change the mistake, what will do? Change the government. That is possible in democracy. We can change the government. That is only possible in democratic government because every fixed period there is election. And that election is meant for the permission from the people to continue or to stop, to change or permit. So that is the election. That is the reason of election. So if wrong decisions are not changed by the rulers, the rulers will be changed in democracy. The government personalities who are there in the government will be changed, and we will put some other personalities in the government who will take care of the people, who will take correct decisions. So this is possible only in democratic system of government. That is why we say democracy is needed. We should accept democracy. We should consult others. We should listen to the viewpoints of others. All of us should live in that environment. Nobody should behave that might is right or I can do whatever I like. That is wrong for any democratic government. That democracy cannot sustain for a long time. So, democracy is the government of the people. That should survive with the support of the people only. Okay, thank you very much.